Welcome to Decoded, our course for MCs and appreciators of hip-hop lyricism, where you learn to identify and break down styles as well as lyrical skills from the lexicon of elite rap techniques. A couple things about Decoded. It is a lecture-based class. All communications happens in the chat. There will be questions and trivia in between the breakdowns. These classes will last as long as 30 to 45 minutes. The Pendulum Ink textbook and its lexicon is what we are using in reference to these breakdowns. We will go line by line, sometimes adding in commentary with regard to multiple meanings. Also note, slant rhyming will be covered throughout, so we won't need to reference it constantly. And with that being said, long live lyricism. Episode 5 of Decoded. We will be breaking down Lupe Fiasco's Dumb It Down, which was on his sophomore album titled The Cool. Before we begin, let's do a quick overview on Lupe Fiasco and his style. Lupe Fiasco is highly regarded as one of the greatest lyricists to ever touch a microphone. Hailing from the west side of Chicago, Lupe's brand of lyricism relies heavily on metaphor, entendre, storytelling, and its devices, Easter eggs, and multisyllabic writing. Having cosigns from some of the greatest lyricists in the world also propelled him to superstar heights, no pun intended. With not only a masterful pen, airtight delivery and cadence, as well as intellect, Lupe has an incredible knack for songwriting, which has garnered him fans worldwide, accolades at the highest level, records sold, countless music projects, singles, and features, as well as the ever-so-touted crown of being one of the greatest lyricists of all time. The GLOAT. After Food and Liquor's success, the weight of having to follow that up with a sophomore project was even higher. With great singles from that debut, the pressure was on. He delivered with his breakout single, Superstar, which was at that time his highest charting single. The B-side to that single was Dumb It Down. At the time of that recording, people felt that Lupe's brand of lyricism was too in-depth and hard to grasp. The consensus was, if he wanted to stay in the mainstream spotlight, he had to dumb it down. Not wavering at all, he responded in typical Lupe fashion with the single Dumb It Down. 3 verses of extended metaphors, theories, and lyricism abound. Let's walk down this journey and break it down right now. I'm fearless, now hear this, I'm earless. And I'm peerless. That means I'm eyeless. Lupe starts this off with a 2-syllable multi that switches at the end of the couplet. The focal point is fearless, technically, but at the end of the second bar, he switches it to eyeless, as we will see later on. In these first 2 lines again, he was told to dumb down his lyrics, so by setting it off saying, I'm fearless, lets you know he is not going to. He is not listening to the critics by saying he is earless. He may have been getting this notion from his peers. Peers here can be an entendre because he connects it by saying, I'm peerless. Peers also means to look narrowly or searchingly to discern clearly. So he is saying he can't hear or see what's happening in regards to him. Now, also remember, he may feel he is peerless in terms of his peers in music, and they can't see him. Now, let's hold on to that really quickly. Which means I'm tearless, which means my iris resides where my ears is, which means I'm blinded. He continues with this 2-syllable multi and a 2-syllable shadow box, which is rhyming within the bars. Now, he is saying tearless, meaning he can't cry because he has no eyes, but he can also mean tear, like T-I-E-R. So the word tear acts as an entendre. If he has no peers, he can't be ranked with them. Circling back though, if he is tearless, meaning tear, T-E-A-R, his iris is where his ears is, and he really can't see y'all in front of him. So he is blinded. Now he can't cry, and y'all aren't ranked with him as peers. Also around this time, music was being dumbed down even more from the ringtone and snap music era. So he is basically venting on this song. Continue with me here. But I'ma find it. I can feel its nearness. Now he switches the focal point again to nearness. He is currently searching for something. What is it? Next bars. Let's go now. But I'm a veer, so I don't come near like a chicken or a deer. But I remember I'm not a listener or a seer, so my windshield smear. He switches the focal point to veer now. There is a simile here with like a chicken or a deer. No multi-usage here at all. Now he's just going to veer from being around the wildness of what music has become. To veer is to steer away from something. Now he is going into driving and land, right? And we're going to keep that there for one quick second. The chicken crosses the street as does deer when they cross. Mind you, he isn't going near like these two animals. However, he isn't listening or seeing what's happening either. So because of this, he runs over the basic sounding music that is these two animals. He isn't the chicken who was afraid of doing things or being called chicken, or the deer who fronts like they tough with the antlers on top of their head and they freeze in headlights, like a deer in headlights. Follow me still though. Here, you stare. I really shouldn't be behind this clearly because my blindness. Now, he only does a 2-syllable multi-count here with blindness, as well as a safety pin with here and stare that leads from the last couple of bars that he did. Now, as he comes to his senses, which is even crazier to say, right? He hands the steering wheel to someone else saying, I shouldn't be doing this. I'm not going to dumb it down. The windshield is minstrel, the whole grill is roadkill, so trillin', so sincere, yeah, I'm both them there. Here, we have 3 focal point switches, and the first 2 are a 2-syllable count, which is windshield and minstrel or menstrual. We will break that down soon, but let's get into also roadkill and whole grill. Now, there are also 2 metaphors here. The windshield are these words, and the grill is roadkill, right? Then he goes into a 3-syllable count at the end. Now, minstrel could be an entendre. Menstrual as a woman bleeding, or minstrel show, meaning he ran over the minstrel show. I could see how menstrual could work because now the windshield is covered in blood, right? But let's keep going. The whole grill is roadkill. The front of the vehicle that Lupe is driving on land, right? Write that down. Land has killed these 2 animals, which represent what he feels is music. Grill can be looked at as an iced out grill in hip hop at this time that were very popular. I like to liken to that because of Lupe saying trill, which comes from UGK, specifically Bun B. He is both trill and sincere. The definition of trill is genuine, authentic, and well respected. Now let's do some quick trivia. How many of y'all can name 5 to 10 UGK songs? I'm giving y'all 30 seconds and go.
Hey man, they ain't famous.
15 seconds. And stop. All right, I hope y'all some UGK fans. Let's keep this going. Took both pills when a bloke in a trench coat and the lokes in the chair had approached him here. He continued the 3-syllable count while shadowboxing with bloke, coat, and lokes. Now, this is clearly a Matrix reference with Lupe saying he took both pills, the reality and the Matrix, real world and the fake. Here in the song, Lupe is grappling with dumbing it down and keeping his style. So Morpheus approached him with a choice and he chose both, right? Now, the bloke is another word for a gentleman in London or the UK, and lokes are, gangsters in the West Coast, right? Now let's keep it going. Made it clear as a ghost or a biter of the throats in the mirror. I like the way he says mirror right there, right? It's not mirror, it's mirror, right? Great slant rhyming. He syllable stacks to a 4-syllable multi, and he also uses the simile clear as a ghost. It might be another simile as he uses the concept of a vampire being clear when it's in the mirror. Biter of the throats is a great way to foreshadow that particular reference. Now, he's making it clear that it ain't no choice. I'm taking both. I'm going to do both, and I'm going to be great at it. The writer of the quotes for the ghost who supplier of the notes to the living. He uses a 5-syllable multi-stack to a 9-syllable multi, right? So writer of the quotes and supplier of the notes to the living, right? Because he continues it in the next couplet, which we will get to. And he uses descriptive imagery to convey the next couplet, which is he is a ghostwriter, thus him taking both pills. He is writing for the ghostwriter. also boomeranging back from the ghost in the previous bar. Are you guys following me? Y'all still with me? All right, let's keep it going. Rivets in his rosy, pockets full of posies given. This is another syllable stack, this time descending though to an 8-syllable multi. Also, a simile here with riveting as Rosie. Rosie the Riveter was the woman icon that was shown in most World War II images, showing off her muscles. His rhymes were as riveting as this propaganda image. Pocketful of Posies comes from the famous Ring of Roses poem. These flowers are given to the mother of the deceased, awake and at war, till I'm resting in peace. Peace, peace. Right? This is all wordplay here. The posies are given to the mothers of the sons who die at war. The metaphor also for the state of hip hop at this time. Hip hop is dead was the narrative, because even Nas put out a record like that. So he is saying he is hip hop and he is at war until he is resting in peace, not dead, but alive in peace. Now, all of these themes represent land, the ground, and the earth. We are going to skip over the chorus until we get to the end because it's an interesting theme that goes with it. But first, check out this quick commercial.
I'm Mickey Factz, Dean of Students at Pendulum Ink, the very first ever school for rap, lyricism, and hip-hop. And I'm proud to announce Pendulum Ink has partnered up with Dcoded to give Pendulum Ink students a discount on their yearly memberships at Dcoded, as well as offering students a chance to enter into our scholarship program. So what are you waiting for? Go to pendulumink.com right now to enroll for your discount and enter into the scholarship program, man. Long live lyricism.
And I'm mouthless, which means I'm soundless. Now, as far as the hearing, I found it. Okay, we back, right? Lupe starts off the second verse with a 2-syllable multi, right? Soundless. Continuing his less scheme, he now moves on to being mouthless, and soundless. But he finally found his hearing. Let's see how and where. It was as far as the distance from the earring to the ground is. Starting it off with a simile in terms of the distance, he uses a 2-syllable multi that syllable stacks to a 6-syllable multi, right? Finding the hearing wasn't too bad because it was only 5 feet away, a very short distance. The average American woman is about 5 feet to 5'3" inches in height, okay? But the door knockers on the air of a stewardess in the lair. She's fine and she flying. I feel I'm flying by because my mind's on cloud 9 and in mine at the same time. He is rhyming with a 1-syllable here throughout his 3 bars. Now, the metaphor here is mind on cloud 9. Really high with his bars. He is going over everybody's head. He's in the air. The air, right? Now, check this out. Door knockers are earrings made in the hood given to the fine girls around the way. She fine and she flying because she's a stewardess. This goes back to the distance that he found. It's no longer 5 feet, but now 10,000 feet in the air with the girl from around the way in the air. So even though he's going over your head, the woman still feel it. Okay, let's do some more trivia. I'm going to give you guys 15 seconds this time. So be ready to type, all right? Name 5 airlines right now. Go.
They
5 seconds.
They ain't famous.
All right. We done. Pimp C the wings on the underground king. This is wordplay here along with a boomerang to the first verse, not only with land, but also with Bun B. The corner bend with Pimp C and changing direction in his bar is evident here, right? He then reignites his flying extended metaphor / scheme here. Pimp C was a part of the group UGK, which stood for Underground Kings with Bun B. He is calling himself an underground king. Also notice the word wings, because we're still in the air. Who's also Klingon, to infinity and beyond. Something really stinks, but I sphinx like Leon. He uses wordplay throughout this, specifically with to infinity and beyond and Klingon. 2-syllable multi used along with nodding for the Disney reference and a simile to cap it all off. Now, Klingons were an alien race on Star Trek. So he's even above the air now. He's in space, which is even crazier and even higher above our heads. That goes into Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story with Infinity and Beyond. That was his catchphrase. The Stinks bar could be in reference to the nose theme in the next 5 bars. Also, the Sphinx is a lion in the desert in Egypt, as Leon Sphinx was a boxer as well who fought Ali and coincidentally broke his nose, which Lupe references. Also, Stinks and Sphinx is shadowboxing in this verse. Or lion in the desert, I'm flying on a Pegasus, you flying on a pheasant. He changes the focal point and goes into a 6-syllable multi, right? Lion in the desert. He uses descriptive imagery to get his point across while continuing the flying scheme. A Pegasus is a mythical horse that's in the air, while a pheasant is a small bird that can barely hold a mouse on its back if it flew. Still going over your heads in the air, right? So we got land, we got air. Writer of the white powder, picker of the fire flowers, spit hot fire like Dylon on Chappelle's skit. He continues the 6-syllable multi as well as shadow boxes with white powder, fire flower, and a slant with hot fire. Fire and Dylon could be cementing slant depending on who you ask, but I'm not going to get too deep into that. But then he ends it with a simile. Also note the metaphor of writer of the white powder. White powder here is noted as cocaine, a strong controlled substance that brings euphoria. You cannot write cocaine, right? Physically or literally, right? So that is a metaphor. Picker of the fire flower, which is a reference to the Mario game Super Mario Brothers when they picked the flower and then they threw fire. He's saying he spits fire like Dylon on Dave Chappelle's skit. So this could theoretically be chain punching here. Making the Band was a show made by Diddy, and Dave Chappelle parodied it on his show, famously using Dylon as the scapegoat, saying he spit hot fire, man. Yeah, smelling on my unicorn, don't snort the white horse, but toot my own horn. Sleep. The extended metaphor stops here at the end of the verse, and he syllable stacks from 3 to 5 with his focal point while using horse wordplay from 3 bars prior, which is a boomerang. Also note the nose reference. You can smell the fire underneath his nose, which would be the unicorn, going back to the horse, or white horse, which would be the white powder. He then references snorting the coke, another reference, but then says he toots his own horn. He doesn't do drugs, being a Muslim, but he will toot his own horn. Now, this can foreshadow to the tuba in the next verse, because tubas are horns, right? He doesn't do drugs. We got that out the way. Mind you, unicorns also mythically fly in the air. Hold on to that as we go into the third verse. Mixing senses and environment while talking about hip hop. This is the definition of not dumbing it down. All right, let's go to the next commercial.
Guess what, yo? Nah, that's whack. If you think you a whack rapper, let me do it again. Public service announcement. Pendulum Ink and Dcoded. We got scholarships for you. Who could do it better? Peanut butter and jelly? Yo, you want to go to school for free? Peas and carrots? Do I got a deal for you? LeBron and leaving teams? If you whack, here's how you get better. Pendulum Ink and Dcoded. We together now.
And I'm brainless, which means I'm headless, like Ichabod Crane is. On the final verse, Lupe uses a 2-syllable multi and ends it with a simile. Now, Ichabod Crane is a fictional character who was headless on a horse, which goes back to the last verse with horses, using the boomerang technique again. Or foreplay less sexes, which makes me saneless, with no neck left to hang the chain with. He continues his 2-syllable multi and uses descriptive imagery when discussing his chain. Also note there's some shadow boxing here with less sex and neck left. Foreplay, less sex is no brain, no head from either party, right? So like there's no touching going on in terms of that, right? Very clever. We'll get to that later. Saneless means lacking mental perception, appreciation, or comprehension. What does this have to do with dumbing it down? He refuses to. He doesn't know how to, and it's no neck to hang a chain on. Going back to the grill and the roadkill in the first verse, which makes me neckless less, like a necklace theft, and I ain't used my headrest yet. He proceeds with a 3-syllable multi that leads into a simile while continuing the head theme. Hey, yo, interesting how it sounds when you say necklace less, and the simile is a necklace theft, basically stealing the chain. He also is working and not sleeping, which is a reference to that headrest, right? And a headrest could also be on land in a car or a headrest that you have on a plane. They said they need proof like a vestless chest about the best fed FF jet in the nest. He continues this into his 3-syllable multi, which again leads into a simile. Chest without a vest leaves you vulnerable, and proof is Old English term for armor. FF, which is first and 15th, his old label, was where he was well fed. Who exudes confidence and excess depth. Even Scuba Steve would find it hard to breathe. He continues his 3-syllable multi, but has a focal point switch before the couplet ends. Scuba Steve was a character played in the movie Big Daddy Ayo with Adam Sandler, a character that dived into water. Again, water. Hold on to that. Around these leagues, my snorkel is a tuba, luda ruler around these seas. He kept the 3-syllable multi with around these leagues, then having a metaphor with the snorkel is a tuba, which is also a shadow box as he goes into depth comparison with water. And the shadow box is where? Tuba, luda ruler, right? This is how deep Lou goes. Hey, yo, he needs a tuba to breathe through this while he's in the sea. The bars are that deep, right? West side Poseidon, west side beside him, chest high and rising, almost touching the knees. This is shadow boxing before returning to the focal point. What's interesting here is a couple things. One, he compares himself to the Greek god Poseidon who controlled water while repping the west side of Chicago. The waters are up to his chest and rising. However, it's almost touching the knees of the stewardess he mentions in the second verse. Nice boomerang there. And it's almost touching her knees. That's how high up he is in stature from the ocean. So imagine, I don't know if you guys watch Marvel, MCU, but Ant-Man when he was Giant Man and in the water, imagine Lupe like that, but even higher up. And that was in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Touching the knees of stewardess and the pilot. Lucky they make you fly with personal floating devices, tricks falling out of my sleeves. In these bars, he is doing shadow boxing and looping the air with the water. Floating devices are used when a plane lands into the ocean. The tricks falling out of his sleeves is a chain punch for the next bar. David Blaine is a magician, and obviously they have tricks up their sleeves. When his falls out from how high up he is, he makes it rain, which is back to the water. David Blaine, make it rain. You make a boat. I make a plane. He starts with a 3-syllable multi. Now notice while he is making it rain for you to survive, you need to make a boat while he makes a plane high above ground, again, over your heads. And this could be you, becoming Noah of some sort. But I don't know if he got biblical on this. Last 2 bars. Then I pull the plug and I make it drain until I feel like flowing and filling it up again. West side. Finally ending this with a 3-syllable multi and finishing his theme. He pulls the plug and make everything go down the drain until he decides to flow or rap and fill it up again. Connecting everything together and ultimately not dumbing down anything. Okay. Let's take note to some of the things said in the chorus, right, before we go into the overarching theme of this project or this song. He's going over niggas' heads, basically being in the sky. Mean and Vicious was a song that was about complexity. So the response was make a song about the bitches, which he did, which was called Sunshine. right? So like when you listen to the chorus, right, he's saying, "You're going over niggas' heads, Lou." That's him being in the air. "We ain't graduate from school, nigga. Them big words ain't cool." Yeah, I heard "Meaning Vicious," nigga. That was a song on one of his previous mixtapes. And "Make a Song for the Bitches. We don't care about the weather, nigga." Right? He compared a woman to the weather in his song Sunshine. That's the first chorus. Now, the second chorus is focusing mainly on knowledge that is being bestowed through his music, graduating and getting out the hood. The last chorus is the best, talking about robots and skateboards, which was Daydream and Kick Push. Still managed to be GQ Man of the Year, though. Not really a hip-hop thing, so that's why it's being put there in the chorus. And referencing Go Yard before most artists knew what it was, and then ending with the man that was on the chorus trying to get the song done after clowning him for 3 choruses straight. Insane. Now, I told you to hold on to these 3 words: land, air, water. He covered the entire earth and put it in your face with the senses, which was hearing, seeing in the first verse, sound and breathing in the second verse, and thinking and touching in the third verse. I'm sure it's layered even more knowing Lupe, but that's what we have so far, right? So consider that he broke down land, air, water, your 5 senses, while telling you hip hop is also dying, and I am not going to dumb it down. Absolutely insane. This song is not close to being one of his most depth-filled records, but it's still beloved by many, mainly due to the lyricism in the song, and it was one of his singles. It began to make people open up their eyes to him as an artist, which was incredible at that time. So let's talk about this record. What were your favorite bars, and what did this record mean to you back in the days? Until next time, thank you for participating in Decoded, and check out this one last commercial for you guys that are thinking about signing up for Pendulum Ink for free.
Yo, it's Mickey Factz, Dean of Students at Pendulum Ink, the very first ever school for lyricism and hip hop. We teach rhythm and style, advanced techniques, songwriting, the business of music. We offer mental health services, and you get access to legendary guest lecturers once a month. So it's not even about all that, man. We just partnered with Dcoded, and we proud to announce we are launching our very first ever Pendulum Ink scholarship program, B. We're going through social media for 5 rappers to present them with a full scholarship for 2024. All right, so this is what you need to do. You need to post a video with your best 16. Tag Pendulum Ink, tag Dcoded in the caption, and then hashtag Pendulum 2024. And look, you also gotta follow Pendulum Ink and Dcoded as we choose 5 scholarship candidates. Yo, this is open to all rappers, all skill levels. The deadline is May 5th. So if you're a rapper or you know somebody that is, don't miss your chance to take your skills to the next level. Long live lyricism.